And so I'm in the state of Texas. I went out to Austin for a little bit. And I don't want to talk about what happened there. Long story short, I ended up in Houston. It's currently May 1st, 2025. My name is Alan Way, aka God7. Ha ha ha. They hate you for that. They hate you for it. And so basically, on my journey through homelessness, downtown Houston, as a contestant, I was able to observe movements and coordination as a human driver. And so basically what I'm saying is, in other words, moving in all the dimensions at which I'm trying to mess you up when you do that too. And so just freestyle the video is what I'm doing right now. Basically, I'm talking about the energy dimension as opposed to the reflection of light that is. And so one thing that I've noticed is that everyone downtown moves almost unilateral in the context of all of their mannerisms and idiosyncrasies being similar. It's interesting. And it's not just limited in downtown, actually. Let me show the scenery. I'm going to show you something at the intersection, at every intersection. Downtown, what it seems like they do. I'm actually at the Gus Wortham Theater currently. But an observation of mine that has become a chronic coincidence in series is what I like to call it. Basically unveils a secret society that I thought was limited to Austin, Texas. And so what people do is they walk as far as these cars are concerned, the human cars, the biological vehicles, biological devices. They move coordinated, but all they can do at their best, I should say, is to have garment. That's why that happens. Like, did you see that guy walk over there and throw that in the trash on cue? As I'm talking. They're mad because I'm going to chop this video up and post it online for everyone to see. And I am fading into this topic versus immediately hitting you with all the information. And so basically, I am homeless as I walk downtown. Every day, I have to cross an intersection every single day. And so it seems as though there is a conscientious attempt to slash my spirit through the reflection of light. And when I say the reflection of light, I mean all that reflects off a person's vehicle. For instance, somebody walking downtown with a suit on or a buttoned up shirt tucked in. And so when you didn't get to choose your clothes or shower even, facts, literally, how can you walk up on somebody and win in every instance? Have you think about it? Every time you walk opposed to somebody in school, excuse me, every single time you do it, it's like a slight mini competition. And so when I say that I'm in downtown Houston as a contestant, that is literally what's happening. And so what I've been doing is to compensate for a dimension that I do not have control of right now, being that light dimension, the reflection of light, like my clothes are uncoordinated, showering in the morning, etc. Literally. It almost is 100% guaranteed to defeat you in every intersection or interaction. And so when you get better at energy bending, it compensates for the lack of the reflection of light. It almost takes precedence over the reflection of light. And so I can demonstrate what's been happening, but I want to talk a little bit about how it's been happening. At every intersection, there is a camera. And it seems as though they've just been monitoring me. It literally took me about 6 months to realize. And so they just run at me, and all of them, shirts tucked, all of them collared, all of them showered, all of them the same in garment, the same in personality. There is no energy behind them at all. The greatest thing that they can do is walk in an intersection with assets being clothes, or be at an intersection with assets being cars. And so one thing that I've noticed is when you're at that intersection, that is the worst moment for people. That is the absolute worst case scenario. And then imagine being homeless. Seriously. And so downtown is composed of many streets, many intersections. And some of the parameters that you want to watch out for are the traffic signals. And so you can control your speed at which you approach the intersection. That's one level to control. You're looking at your opposition in front of you. You're factoring in the cars around you. And you're also looking at the signal. And so if you count the amount of seconds it takes to transition between signals, you would understand how to look more boss. And at the bottom line, at the beginning and the end of the day, it's who looks more boss. Somebody who has nothing but assets and no energy, or somebody who is diametrically opposed, has absolutely nothing but energy. And so some of these videos that I've been posting, you have been able to see what I mean by radiating energy. I picked up the pen, and so the pen, gives direction. Yes, literally. The pen gives direction. And so at an intersection, when you approach it, you can choose to be boss or bitch. Literally. Before I show you what I'm talking about, which isn't necessarily that special, but once you understand the context and the background, it becomes to be something completely different. And please excuse me, I am in freestyling this video. I have limited resources at which I can record and produce for you at this point in time. And so when I say forget about Austin, I don't really actually mean it. Like, please don't forget about Austin. I was out there, and it seemed as though there was a purposeful, malicious attempt to evict me so that I would end up homeless on the streets. And so currently, this is a side story, by the way. It's a side story, but it's very relevant. The pen thing isn't just backed up. It's not just a pen thing, actually. It's backed up because I'm a real writer. You could tell by my voice and the erudite at which I exude. I call it Aphrodite now, actually. Literally. But anyways, it seemed like there was a purposeful eviction to get me to be outside, to be part of this mini game in life. And the context that I'm referencing is, have you ever seen a model walk down the runway? Have you ever seen it? It's literally just the reflection of light. And when I say that, allow me to break down what I'm saying. They choose somebody with physical features, physical characteristics. Actually, you should go down here so they can see it. I'm sorry. Yes. Literally. They choose somebody with physical characteristics that are above par, for starters. And the second thing that they do is affixate garment to them that would reflect light purposefully to make someone else feel inferior or to demonstrate to demonstrate or to enhance or to accentuate, that's what I was looking for, the physical characteristics again. And so all they do with that is the reflection of light. It's not that complicated. It's almost equivalent to being a porn star, to be honest, except for a softcore. Truly. And so all they do is just find somebody, give them an outfit, and tell them to walk. And so the way that you walk demonstrates boss. So chin up, chest out. Downtown is where they do that, though. And so the difference between a runway in an intersection is that personally, I think that it's a lot harder being on the streets. The venue is random every time. You never know how someone is going to react. It's impersonal. You know no one. Actually, you're outside, exposed to the elements. Actually, literally. There's a lot more factors that you have to worry about, such as traffic signal, such as other cars, such as safety, as opposed to a runway. And so, again, when I mentioned the unilateral mannerisms and idiosyncrasies from the patrons that exist downtown, all that's happening is they give them the same thing. Look at these characters here. That's the most that they can do. No offense. And so when you attach energy to a walk, it enhances it. It's directly equivalent to being able to speak something from your mind through your body, and at the same time correlate and choreograph simultaneously through body language the impact of your statement that you attempted to construe is that much more impactful as you're attaching more data points to your statement. Literally. And so when you start communicating with your mind, body, and your soul, the message that you send out is better. And so as I've been walking around downtown, nobody has been able to fuck with me. I could be that dude right there. Right there. You see him? Ha ha ha. Do you see him? It's like being that dude versus someone in a suit. And so you're not kept. It destroys your spirit. And when your spirit is destroyed, it's just easier to take you out. Like a sitting duck. Literally. And so when you cross the street, people tend to lose spirits and to be confused in person, as there are way more factors than being in your bedroom, than being on a runway, than being in school. Literally. And so you just want to move better, chest out, confident, cocky smile. You could be missing teeth. You still smile at them. And so now that I've said that, eventually I will end up stitching in the video. In fact, I may do it live. Actually, let me go do it over here. I'm sorry I didn't have a camera present. They mad at me for it. They're mad at me for it. And so basically I'm at the Wortham Theatre. Shit. I do nothing all day but cross the street. And they're mad at me because of it. And so you won't be able to hear me, but you may be able to see me. This is literally what I do all day. glasses, they are nobilities. Every day, on the corner, crossing intersection after intersection, while all opposing, literally, unilaterally lose, with the consolidated effort in the totality of shame, challenge. I feel as though they wanted to destroy my spirits. As though they wanted to compromise my mind. I feel as though they only can do that through a reflection of light. But they forgot one thing. They forgot energy dimension. They forgot the energy dimension. And so as I construe my message, crossing the streets, literally, you cannot lose. And so, this is literally what I do all day on the intersection. When I go anywhere, I have to do that. Imagine how exhausting that is. Literally. And so, the only way that they can beat me is to accumulate assets such as cars, such as clothes, and then walk. And this is how they walk, actually. Now imagine 180 degrees opposed to me, walking in this best you can do. In fact, let me take the jacket off. That doesn't deserve the jacket. Sorry. This is them. They don't even have the hit. You know, this is them. All day. They don't have a plan. They don't have a song. This is them all day. And let me show you what it looks like from the side. This is them. And did I mention that they have their phones in their hands, which if you look at body language again, your head is down. Why are you bowing down to me? Literally, this is them all day. While I monitor 360 degrees. And so the factors that I'm considering are the light. The factors that I'm considering are your speed, your direction, relative to mine. And they hate that. Because when you come outside with energy like this, it shows that you're thinking at another level. It shows that your existence relative to your intellect exists, in fact, at a higher echelon than theirs. Literally. And you see what I mean about a message being more impactful when you move versus when you stand still and you're stationary. Let me put the jackets back on because it looks better. They hate me without the shades. They hate me without the music. They hate it. And so literally, it's hard to do on a $40 camera without anybody else. And so basically, I have to use this $40 camera, and it's hard to put it in the streets to show you. But there have been some days where I have literally slayed their souls doing this. This is my in between here. It shows. It just shows. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I feel as though Austin, Texas had an entire elaborate ruse to get me outside, to compete. Ill prepared, as I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Yeah, literally. And so you're just walking downtown and homelessness is new to you. And you hate it. And you don't want anyone to see you. I'm at least 80% introverted, to be honest. I actually don't spells. It's the worst thing, actually. It's the worst thing. And so I'm suing defend them in federal court. In fact, I have this entire thing. It's called, well, it's one of the documents. Now comes plaintiff in case style Aweah versus State of Texas in Estancia Villas LLC, delivering on him that's really hard. Plaintiff additionally commands revelation of express universal authority, co-signed by United States District 7. I forgot it. Because I've been in the streets. I'm sorry. It's fire though. You should check it out. And so basically, I'm in Houston, Texas right now, waiting for court to start. I'm asking for $100 million because there's no reason for me to be homeless in the streets, broke and poor. I'm literal erudite. And they know it. In fact, before this, I was actually a service electrician on the verge of making $200,000 before the Masters. I was about to take the Masters in 2024. And they stopped me to show me this nonsense, as though I didn't know it instinctively. And speaking of instinct, they can say whatever they want to say about the reflection of light combined with energy. Gotta enunciate. I typically just started laughing at people because the shit that they say just doesn't make any sense. Or it's not like you're just on another level of comprehension, and for me to bring you up to that level would take so much energy, and so you just laugh at them. Like, what did I say? On the verge of making $200,000 before the Masters, and then stopping from taking the Masters only to bring me outside so that you could laugh at me for being homeless, until I realized that it's the energy dimension. And then once I start doing that, they get mad. Because they all look like bitches afterwards. I don't know what else to say. No, seriously. And so that's literally what's been happening. And so they've just been recording me. It seems like it's some sort of cult or something. I don't know what it is actually. It's annoying. I'm really just speculating. But everywhere I go, there's a camera at the intersection. And when I count the seconds in coordination with my movements and my positioning relative, so that the objective of me doing all that is that when I step one foot on the intersection, the light immediately turns green. I cannot tell you how boss that is, actually. When you step and it turns green and you walk in a certain direction, you're looking at different dimensions at an intersection. To be honest with you, this isn't for the faint of heart. This is very complex shit that I'm talking about. I just want to mention my experience out here, because sometimes it can be a bit daunting. It can be a bit there's so much more to it than that. But that's just me freestyling what's going on. Sometimes this can be a bit crazy, as they like to say it. And so if you keep your spirit up, which they've never been able to truly hurt me spiritually, they've been doing lots of weird things to bring me down psychologically speaking, physically speaking, financially speaking, economically speaking, socio-economically speaking. God damn it. Community speaking. Damn it. They've done so much to destroy me for some reason. I wonder what it is, actually. Just maybe true bosses, true gods, all of a sudden. And so basically, they don't want the pen thing that I'm doing and the energy to be backed up by anything. And when I say something legitimate, I would say a federal civil lawsuit is potentially the highest level of civil insurance possible. And so when I say civil insurance, what I'm saying, by the way, keep note of how when I speak and I punctuate, it correlates with my head. It's in sync. It's in sync. But literally, when I say civil insurance, you pick anyone that's standard from downtown. What's the first thing that they have for civil insurance? I have a job, I have a career. Me too, I used to have one. Yes, literally, I have shifted careers now. I'm more along the lines of activist, lawyer, operating cross efforts. Let's just leave it at those two. Actually, when I reference civil insurance, everybody, first things first, have a job. Second thing, don't be a criminal. That's the worst thing. There's been so many opportunities for me to transition into being a criminal versus being civil. I'm absolutely civil. Absolutely. And so if you stay away from drugs and you have a family and you're social and you're in your community and you have a career, that is civil insurance, for sure. The way that I'm looking at it is, if I sue an entire state for all the negligence and all the malpractice. Excuse me, I've been doing erudite E for a little bit now. I've been practicing out here. Allow me to shit. Suing civilly is the ultimate insurance policy in the context of, why would you be suing an entire state? Well, the First Amendment literally specifies in the last sentence of the paragraph that it's so easy to do erudite E now. I don't even know what's. I think it's taking over. I'm sorry. It's easy to do erudite E. It's so easy. So I just slip into erudite E. My fault. I'm erudite E. When I say that, I mean it's just like prim and proper. And so you're just outside instead of being inside. And so you try to take away from that erudite E, but never let anybody change you based on circumstances. Is what I'm saying. Always be yourself. And I'm simple is what I'm getting at. And so I have this act, you know what I'm saying? Not really act, but I have this character, you know what I'm saying? And that's really it. And they're just haters. They're all just haters. And so basically, that civil insurance allows me to, like, in the face of everything, literally be better than you. I swear, like, bro, I could be homeless. I could literally wake up underneath a bridge. You know what I'm saying? Not shower that morning. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that I have on me is my intelligence, my body, and my energy, and my spirit. And I just show up to court. You know what I'm saying? I show up writing documents, and they're fire documents. And that's why I have the pen, because I'm a real writer. I think I spun it off 21 Savage, just a little bit. He says, feel like this. What did he say? Feel like the last real writer, because he's weird. Literally though. Like, I feel like the last real writer out here. The last person with common sense out here. And so basically, they'll try that all day. Don't allow them to try that. People are communicating with me on a whole nother plane. And so, I'm trying to stay on topic. Please excuse the freestyle. I may end up just chopping this video up, but I'm limited on resources as far as production goes. That's why they're like, please let us help you. But fuck them. So this is what's happening. That civil insurance policy is literally allowing me to be boss. Because on record, according to the United States Constitution, and being in America, where it becomes federal jurisdiction if you go that direction, right? All of the acts attributed from the state of Texas would constitute malpractice and negligence. And so all they're doing now is trying to coordinate so that they extend the processes at which I would be able to finish my lawsuit. And then just have you outside with plenty of opportunities to get in trouble, like hoes and violence and soup kitchens and people just highly irritable for no reason. And you show up as the sun god on an intersection doing this all day. All day. All day. And they hate you for it. And so basically, what I'm saying is this. Like, if I'm going to be a service electrician, that's a very hard thing to do. It's very hard. You cannot even just do that. You need to know sales, interpersonal skills, technical skills, and all that combined into one. And then you have to apply it. It's very hard to do. And so if you're doing that and you also have a federal lawsuit, I don't know what else to say. And so, to be honest with you, going from Austin, Texas to Houston, Texas, the first thing I noticed is that I couldn't get a job as an electrician. Think of how prevalent electricity is. Like, it's literally in commercial facilities, residential facilities, industrial facilities, and governmental facilities, such as outdoors or the roads, factories, Walmarts, department stores, and anybody's house, anybody's apartment. And so I've been able to just use that as my bread and butter. Everything was good. But I don't know what's happened. They evicted me as soon as I moved to Austin in less than 4 or 5 months, I think. And so I don't know what that was, but I'm still fighting against it. And it escalated just from Travis County to the entire state of Texas. I have so much information, so much dirt on them. So I'm gonna fuck them up in state court. And all they can say in defense is, oh, the 11th Amendment. If you read the 11th Amendment and you have a brain, you would laugh. It's actually laughable as a defense. Coming from the state of Texas, Estancia Villas, LLC. That was the apartment complex that evicted me, sorry. And so I know I'm all over the place with this, but I'm just basically showing you the processes at which I'm discovering what's going on. Move to Austin, some sort of RICO, some sort of conspiracy, you end up getting evicted. I don't know if it's the color of my skin, maybe they hate me for being erudite. I call it Aphrodite. Now, Dite. Well, I don't want to die. There's a lot going on right now. But just know it's he. He in the enunciation or the pronunciation of it. Literally. And so after that, you end up in Houston. I'm not going to tell you how I got here, but you end up in Houston. And so I went from San Antonio, building up all those skills as a service electrician, wanting something better, moving to the capital of Austin, and then after the capital, the eviction, and then you ended up back here with family and all these other things, and you're trying to stay away from violence and drugs and things, so just outside, long story short. So now you're discovering everything, and so I'm hitting them in their legislative department, their executive department, and for sure their judicial department, because they're garbage, actually. And so basically what they don't want is one person to sue an entire state because I'm going to win, especially in the jury. What they want to do is close the trial and have a bench trial. That way I don't have the power of the people. And they're so garbage for it. Or try to like give me less than what I think I deserve because they're inaccurate appraisals, actually, to be honest. They're garbage. They're trash cans. I could look at somebody and look at a trash can. Or I could look at somebody and point to a trash can and point back to them. They don't know what the fuck that meant. I'm literally in love with myself. And so they hate me for it. They hate me for it. Excuse me. I do this all day on the streets, on the corner. And they hate me for it. Or they love me, one of the two. Which is two halves of the coin. Actually. And so I go from Austin, Texas to Houston, Texas, and discover all kinds of nonsense out here and learn how to defend myself because they're all bitches. But I'm serious though. And when I reference that, I mean people that are hiding. I hate pretenders. I hate people that hide. It's annoying. It's very annoying. And again, when I say that when I moved to Houston and I could not get a job, it becomes purposeful. Like, think of how prevalent electricity is, actually. Like, you can just get a job. I immediately got here and put out 50 resumes and did not get. In fact, they started texting me back and they said, your skill set doesn't match. Like, how would that even? They literally, like, I'm a service electrician and my resume is just fire. And literally, all the qualifications match. You could just tell by my energy. You could tell by my grammar choice. You could tell about how I use my sentence structure that I'm not an idiot. Even if you didn't want to give me the benefit of the doubt of being smart, you could tell that I'm not retarded. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if I apply for a job, why would I apply for a job that I'm not qualified for? Literally. And so, in most instances, I think it was some sort of joke or gimmick or something where they just go, you know what, your skill set doesn't match. And I'm just like, okay. And these are like the companies that I have worked for before in the context of being service electricians. And sales and all this other stuff. And so basically, I'm qualified, but they wanted to make it seem like I wasn't. And so I went from like $100,000 jobs to trying to get a job at Taco Bell. And just for some reason, I can't get a job at Taco Bell. It's ridiculous. Like, how do you not get a job at Taco Bell? Burger King, Kroger, Taco Bell, everything. Because as being a single individual, if you can't get what you want immediately, you have to settle for what you can have in that moment in time. And so I go from high-end jobs, coming from Austin, Texas, coming to Houston, and literally not to even be able to work at McDonald's. Literally. Not to being able to work for errands, nothing. Like, no job that I tried to apply to works. And so they want you to be outside and then start feeding you nonsense so that they can call you crazy. And so I have a very strong mind. It just can't happen, actually. Literally. And so they disqualify you. First thing they do is they utilize the judicial system and try to make you look like you're retarded. It was a trifecta. It was a perfect storm. I went out there by myself. I was pro se, and I was poor. Relative to them. And so basically they just bullied me. I end up back in Houston. I was raised here, actually, as an adolescent, as a child. So I came back to my roots. But, it's so bad. Anyways, and then so you get here, and they just disqualify you from having a job. And so if you can't have a job, you don't have income. And you've already been shamed in the context of the law. But that was through the state system. And so I went from municipal court, JP court, to county court, to the third court of appeals. I utilized their entire system, and it seemed again like it was unilateral in the context of them just making a decision to just fuck him. Fuck him, get him out of here. He doesn't know. Until he finds out what is going on. And now I can assert true boss. Because, as to the fact, excuse me, that I'm now proceeding in federal court. And they hate that. They really truly hate that. Because they don't have jurisdictional powers to just come down on me anymore. Now they have to cooperate with someone else. There's another party involved. And so if you can't utilize the law, or they demonstrate to you that the law isn't going to work for you, that's the first thing that they do, actually. Demonstrate that you have nowhere to go to. You cannot use the law. Then you end up in Houston, and the next thing they do is disqualify you from every job possible. This is not me just saying, I'm too good to work at McDonald's. I'm too good to work at Taco Bell. I'm too good for any of that. Like, this is coming from an overqualified person that is very humble, actually. And so when they disqualify you from jobs, what do? To be honest with you, I didn't turn to selling drugs. I'm still simple. I didn't turn to robbing houses, breaking and entering. I didn't turn to robbing people's cars, breaking and entering. To be honest with you, the only opportunities that have been out here, violence, gang activity, prostitutes. In fact, if you break the word down, prostitutes, I like to say pros, ITUs. There's so much, there's a conspiracy going on. Truly. In fact, side note, airtime. If you look at the connection between the alphabet and the number line, and the enunciation of each word relative, you begin to read between the lines and it unfolds Pandora's box. But I'm not going to get into that. Let's keep it on level 3. The enunciation of the number line, 1 through 10. Or the enunciation, or pronunciation of the alphabet, A through Z. Even on a rotation of some of them, it can construe the message, and they all interconnect with each other. For instance, 1 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 could also be seen as 1 instead of O-N-E, W-O-N. And then 2 could be you. 3 could be free. 1 or want. 1, you, free. 4, life. 6, heaven. Hate. 9, end. It's more complex than that. Like there's at least, I'm not gonna break it down because it's very distant theory, but when you start to see these messages play out on multiple instances, it solidifies the ground in which you stand on, honestly. But side note, airtime over, back to what I was saying about it's garbage. Anybody that wants to operate as a civil individual, as a civil human being, and they hate these guys. And so basically my objective is to just go fuck them up in civil court on a federal note. And now I'm proceeding in the Southern Federation District Court, transferring to the Western Federation District Court, United States. United States of America. They hate that. And so every time I move, there's energy behind it. Every time. They hate that. Because all they do is sit there, and it's like somebody telling you something. It's like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't believe you. Whereas, I heard what you said, sir, and I certainly believe you. That's the difference in the message. That's literally the difference. And so when I'm walking around as a lawyer, ultimately, what I was saying is that that same energy, that same sentiment on every intersection demonstrates who truly is boss. And what they wanted to do was evict me, not to give me an opportunity to recuperate or recover, not to let me have my civil insurance that I had. Literally. And every time I do that, I feel like I'm slicing spirits. Literally. I feel like I jumped out of my body and slapped the shit out of you in spirits right quick. Because that's what this is. It's psychological and spiritual warfare. And that's why they're mine. Because I'm a boss. Literally. Some of this shit's just funny. But it's accurate, actually. And so basically, what I'm saying is, there is no jobs in Houston. Once they designate you as like once they mark you, there's no opportunity for you to have a job. And so all they do is just present opportunity for you to get in trouble every 10 seconds, like every facet of my life, every corner that I turn. It's very weird. But once you start to notice a pattern, in fact, that's what constitutes an intelligence quotient, being able to identify patterns. Once you can identify these patterns, you start to understand the world that you live in. And so they're just taking advantage of the situation because it's either like join or die type of like there's a cult somewhere doing something. There are a few points that I wanted to stay on topic before I get off this video. The first thing I wanted to compare is being on a runway with being at an intersection. I believe the intersection is harder to do, especially not having accommodations such as clothes or your attire, your garments in general. And only having to work with the reflection of light. You would always lose. And so the only thing you can do is add energy. And so none of the models walking on that runway are doing that. None of them are doing any of that. You know what I'm saying? None of them. Anyway. None of them. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen anybody. I'm pondering. None of them. And so, if being a model pays you high, it's a high earning job and you're a celebrity and all of these other things, you taste the finer things in life. Why is the intersection? why is being on the intersection not a position to be compensated in? One, if being a lawyer pays you, why then would proceeding pro se bar you? No pun intended, actually. Literally, they're mad. And so that's one of the points I wanted to bring up. A runway with an intersection. That's what's happening in life right now. And it seems like a mini game in life, actually. But it's a serious profession. And so why are they compensated for literally just walking around like this? Literally, you can tell there's a difference in energy, and they're garbage. Why is TikTok winning, doing dances like this inside their apartment? Why is TikTok winning? Well, because it's a reflection of light. Everybody likes softcore porn. Yes, everybody likes softcore porn, and the children, the retarded. And that's literally what wins. Softcore porn, the reflection of light. You look at Instagram, she literally doesn't even need to be there. But if she took a picture of her ass in a certain angle, people will tend to linger around more. And so all I'm saying is, and allow me to finalize what I'm saying, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. And if I left any of them out, in addition to being a runway model, or being in entertainment in general, right? Those are all high-paying careers now. And so being on the street at an intersection is the worst place to be. When I say the worst place, it's the most uncomfortable place to be. Just about. Which, if it's the most uncomfortable place and you're not getting any accommodations, it would literally prompt you to be the best. Is what I'm saying. And the next place is stage, but it's more of a controlled atmosphere. And so that's the next step. These careers pay high. And so it seems like you just come out here and you're just drafted for something. Like, I don't know what it is. It's weird. But all I know is this. I've been outside in Houston since the end, or really the middle of October in 2024, all the way till now, May 1st, 2025. And it's been terrible, actually. And so when I say it's been terrible, somebody with an extreme acute sense of observation, an extreme introspection, able to put things together. Like, I'm able to decipher what's true and what's not. And what's happening is that, like, I have not been able to be on my regular regimen. Regulatory affairs such as working and building my career as a service electrician. Like, I'm out here now demonstrating the reflection of light for no reason. And so eventually, the higher of a revelation that you have, the more comprehension of the world that you live in that you have, things just tend to be fun. And so that's why you've noticed me just laughing in the middle of shit. Like, I'll be saying something and just ha ha ha, because I'm thinking of multiple things at the same time, actually. And so once you get far along down that road, and you're outside and you're homeless, nobody can take you seriously anymore. That's another point that I want to mention. Imagine just, ha 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 ha. It may appear as though someone is on drugs, but they're really not. And you just don't understand them because you're at a lower perspective. That's truly it. You have a lower processing. That's truly it. So you don't comprehend what the heck is going on. And I was there. I would see a bum on the street. I call it build a bum. Ha. I see a bum on the street, and it was my objective to never be that character. So now that I'm a bum on the street, this is one of the most fire characters. Just saying. Ha. 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 Literally. And so basically, I don't want that comprehension that I have now to be misconstrued with just a reflection of light. And so all of these data points that I end up in are literal positions in time that you're stopping in. And so when you punctuate on something, again, you're just construing the message. And so these are the different parameters that I consider. The frequency at which you speak. You could sound like an idiot just off that, literally. The frequency at which you speak, your choice of words, your vernacular, your grammar. In addition to your posture, in addition to your body, your positioning. When I say positioning, it also opens the door for your environment. And so if you are able to think in mind and connect speech in addition to construing your language or simultaneously construing a message through body while understanding your position in the environment, you become able to operate at an ultimate level. And that's probably what some people call ultra instinct. It's like you're thinking faster. It's almost as though time relative to it flowing naturally, you've been able to, if the clock spins like this, it's almost as if your brain will go twice as fast or faster in general, which allows you to slow down time, if that makes any sense. And so now, in that same instance, I'm able to think more clearly as to what decision I want to make. And so that's all that's happening out here. It's just the discovery of energy. That's it. Having said that, there is literally no opportunity for work out here in Houston. Which is weird, very weird. But they have plenty of opportunities for soup kitchens and just homelessness in general. And again, I'm sorry I'm going off. I just felt like I'm owed so much more than where I'm at, actually. On multiple accounts, like being a service electrician and aiming for your master's, moving to Austin, now suing the entire state of Texas in federal court as petitioner. In addition to construing messages, potentially teaching about energy. Literally, it wouldn't make any sense for an individual such as myself to be poor. Like, why would I be poor? And so there's a lot to talk about. I'll be back. I was gonna have a podcast. There's too much going on. Anyways, Houston is the worst place ever. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. Austin is so much cleaner. In fact, if you just look at the comparison between, or the contrast, I should say, between the river and their river, actually, Austin is crystal clear, and the city of Houston is dirty. The reason they gave me is because of erosion. It's nasty. I don't want to be here. There's no opportunity for me to flourish. I'm literally a star. I'm actually made up of the same components. Of the same components that compose the stars themselves. The stratosphere. Yeah, literally. And so basically, I'm suing the entire state of Texas in federal courts. And it's a job, actually. They just can't see me working. I don't get any money for it until it's over. It sucks, actually. But I'm working. I actually have a job. I'm observing what's going on in the city of Houston and making a detailed account of it. And so basically that's activism. It's also a job. And so don't ever look at me and think that I'm poor. Literally. There's just a freeze on my assets. It's a freeze on my assets, please. Don't try to explain us poor. We're not poor. For long, actually. Literally. And so yes, I was going to turn it off, but there's no jobs in Houston, and so you have to work long range, you have to work as a model, you have to work as a lawyer, you have to work as a activist. And so right now, I've transferred the entire case back to the city of Austin because I think it'd be more economically feasible of a decision for me to make rather than be in Houston, Texas. There's just too much opportunity out here for criminal to be a criminal, to be labeled as a criminal. Whereas in Austin, even if you're just processing homelessness, it's easier to not to be labeled a criminal. Plus, I would have first-hand. I made Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, come outside actually on this case. The case number is 4:25-CV-00447. If you want to follow on pace, sir. That's public access to court's electronic records. If you're interested. And so basically, excuse the freestyle, but I'm basically just out here. And I've noticed a lot. And to be honest, now every time I walk down the intersection, now that I feel like I've hit a critically acclaimed level, like you'll see some of my videos online, I have some music on it. It's actually better without the music. Turn the music off and look at the videos and you can see the message that I'm distributing. Ha ha ha. Literally, they hate it for that. And so that's what I do all day in Houston. I just literally walk around on the intersection. Most days it's fun. Like I said, it's a mini game. Some days it's annoying because you hit it like a level and it's like, that was so fire. Like, I don't know if I can touch that again. Literally. You just get out there and it's fun. And then sometimes it's not fun because, like, imagine just walking everywhere. Imagine just playing the same video game all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? Until you get good at it, I guess. And so when you get indoors and I get into the courtroom and I'm trying to construe the message, it's not going to be good for them. And that's why they hate you, literally. But I think that's it. I just wanted to make a PSA, public service announcement of my findings, my transition to Aphrodite. I feel like a Charizard that has evolved as an EX and nobody expected it. At first I was a Charmeleon. No, excuse me. I forgot. Or did they go in? At first I was a Charmander. Then I turned into a Charmeleon. And then I started to fly on them. When I moved to Austin, I was a Charizard. They hated him. They jumped him. And now, they thought they were going to get rid of him. They thought. These thoughts. Now I'm an EX version. Who watches Pokemon? I know you watch it. I'm gonna stop right here.